Hello, and welcome back to the Paper Soprano podcast. I am your soprano host, and my name is Heidi Schneider, okay? Is that okay? Today's a great day to be an American, you guys. We had our presidential inauguration today. President Joe Biden is now officially inaugurated along with first female and a bunch of other amazing firsts that I always forget. First everything. Vice President Kamala Harris. And yeah, it's just a great day, you guys. I'm kind of emotionally drained from watching the inauguration because it was just so unbelievably overwhelming to hear speeches like that and to hear so many genuine kind of like just proclamations of hope and hearing people speak eloquently and like politicians should. I am not one to tiptoe around politics, and I think that the people who do tiptoe around are a part of a big problem in the U.S. So I think that it's safe for me to say, I'm very grateful that we have a new president. And while I know that there's a lot of change that needs to be happening ahead and there's a lot of work that lies ahead down the road, I think it's appropriate for us to celebrate today on this day. There's definitely been a lacking of inspiration and pride and there's just been a lacking for the past 4 years. And it seems like we've been just clogged with other things, but in reality it's just been an emptiness that we've had as a country. Whereas in previous years, we've felt very full, even after, like, catastrophes and things like that. And I think now, after hearing all of these inauguration speeches and stuff, it has just kind of, like, restored a minuscule amount of faith in humanity that I have. And I hope that you can say the same thing. I know that it's not necessarily everybody's cup of tea, but one of the main things in the inauguration speeches that I personally took away was, they were talking about unity in a way that wasn't like trying to escape repercussions for things. They were talking about unity as, as democracy would have it. So that was really refreshing to hear. And, they denounced white supremacy. They denounced racism. They denounced all of these things openly and did not, have any weird, like, cryptic messages to anyone and nothing we had to, like, decipher or do anything. And there was that beautiful poet laureate. I think am I saying that right? She was a poet, and she delivered this beautiful, beautiful speech that was extremely creative and just very, very moving, very topical. I was very grateful to have been able to hear it. And I didn't necessarily expect that. But yeah, I also, honestly, not gonna lie, didn't hate all of the singing. And I think that's something that we if you're a singer right now and you're listening to this, I think that's something that we should strive for when large events like this take place. Like, we as musicians focus on the singing and the music a lot, which is fine. But, I've said this before on the podcast, but I think that we should, as musicians, do more active work to try and build each other up versus try and critique each other in big moments like this. Like, Lady Gaga killed it. She killed it. And I was nervous watching her. And I like can't even tell you how unbelievable that felt for me to know what it's like to sing, just to sing in front of people, and then to know that Lady Gaga is also doing that, and she's singing in front of the entire country and the world. What a privilege and what an exhilarating thing that must have been. And to have to undergo criticism and to have to do all these musical things that we all do every day, whatever, you know, that's a big task. And she did it, she did it. She walked out of there in that dress. Oh my God, she was killing it. And she sang. And so did J-Lo, also very low key. Literally, there was a low key that they chose. Very, very good choice for someone who doesn't want to put any pressure on J-Lo, whoever chose that key for her to sing in. Okay. I didn't like how she kind of threw in the "let's get loud" at the end. I will say that. I thought that was a little bit tacky and a little bit taking away from the whole message there. But, whatever. We're not tearing anybody down. I thought that she did a good job. She looked great. She looked emphatic and got the job done in the end. Same thing with, what's his face? Garth Brooks. I give him mad props for singing a cappella. Good Lord. That is so terrifying. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure they all sang live. I'm not 1000% sure, though. I just learned recently that Whitney Houston's national anthem at the Super Bowl that one year, the one, the Whitney Houston national anthem, I just learned that was recorded, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if any of these performances that we heard today were recorded. But that being said, it is what it is, dude. It's hard to sing outside. It's hard to sing under pressure. It's hard to sing, it's hard to do all of these things with the entire world watching you. And I know some opera singers will be like, oh, well, we do it. Why can't they do it? And I'm like, dude, listen. The pressure isn't nearly the same. They're not acting as a character. They're acting as themselves. And they're trying to appeal to the broadest audience on the face of the earth. Like, they're trying to make it work for everybody. And that's really hard. And also stay true to, like, their image, their pop image or whatever they're going for. But yeah, dude, it was really good. And I definitely cried, like, the whole time. If you didn't cry, like, I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't know about you if you didn't cry watching that. And, like, the speeches were great. It's a great day to be a woman in America. Great day to know that, hopefully somewhere down the line, I'll be able to say I watched that inauguration and I was there in technology. I was there at, the time where Kamala Harris was brought into the vice presidency. Like, that's insane. And hopefully someday it won't be insane, because that's what we're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, it is very uplifting today. And I'm going to keep it kind of brief, because I know that today's not about anything other than just enjoying it for today. And then, tomorrow we'll get to work. But, like, and by we, I mean, I don't even really know where to begin. I'm just one person, and it is kind of intimidating seeing so many people post on social media like, oh, look at these things. Now we need to get to work. We need to do this. We need to do that. It's like, dude, we've got to start real small, because if we don't, we're going to get intimidated and we're going to not do anything. Like, we've got to start in our communities. We've got to start rebuilding our businesses, our economies. Ooh, it's windy outside. But we've got to start rebuilding, like, morale, and we've got to start rebuilding connections between people, and we've got to start fixing all of these, like, problematic conversations that come up every single time anybody talks about politics. Like, it's so frustrating. It needs to be changed over time. And obviously we all know that nothing can change without time, because, you know, if it changes really quickly, it's never going to last. And we all know this. So I think the moral of the story today is just, there is hope, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I know so many people who are getting vaccines. I know so many businesses that are reopening, and I'm very thankful for that. I hope that they do well. I hope that they follow the rules. I hope that they, you know, do absolutely everything in their power to keep everyone safe. And I hope that we can just make it work, because we're headed in the right direction, I feel like now, right? Like, I feel okay today in terms of, like, the world and what's going on in it. And maybe that'll just last for today. Hope it doesn't. But at least we have today, you know? Like, geez. At least we have today. So, it's time to read our little daily segment here. We're gonna move right along, because, like I said, I don't want to be on here too long today. But sorry. So last time we read William Byrd, and now we're reading, my boy. We've got Henry Purcell, the father of English song. Born 1658, died 1695. Oof, rough one for you, dude. Dang. Oh, man. That's a short life. Okay. Here we go. Are we ready? Are we ready? Hold on. Okay. Here we go. A jovial King Cole, who relished his pipe and his bowl of an evening at a cozy inn, who wrote many songs for his fiddlers three, expressing frolicsome as well as more serious moods, Henry Purcell and his music live today as the essence of the Elizabethan era, when in the world the flesh and the devil throve side by side with the church and its ministers. Little St. Anne's Lane, Old Pie Street, Westminster, thus melodiously was yclept the scene of his birth in 1658. His father, a singing man of Westminster Abbey, having died when Henry was but 6, his Uncle Thomas became the sympathetic guardian of a boy and his musical talents. In his youth, as a chorister of the Chapel Royal, he learned from Humphrey, master of the children, not only the old Gregorian chants, but the newer idiom of the Italians and the Frenchmen, Lully. At the same time, he became an accomplished organist, and later, when his voice broke, music copyist in Westminster Abbey. When James II was crowned with pomp and ceremony, Henry, in his capacity of organist of the Abbey, an honor bestowed when he was but 22, superintended the erection of a new organ for the event. The prize money he received inspired him to compose 2 fine anthems, My Heart is Inditing and I Was Glad. Also an ode, Why Are All the Muses Mute? Yet, several years later, when James was in disgrace, Purcell's comic song, Lily Bullero, helped to ridicule him out of 3 kingdoms. His 20 adult years were crowded with enduring His 20 adult years were crowded with enduring work of 4 types: sacred music, odes, and welcome songs, music for amateurs, and dramatic music. Dido and Aeneas, written in 1680 for performance by the young gentlewomen of Mr. Josiah Priest's school at Chelsea. The 4-part chorus, In These Delightful Pleasant Groves, and the Shakespeare song, Come Unto These Yellow Sands, are frequently sung. He died appropriately on the eve of that Saint Cecilia's Day, November 21st, 1695, which he had celebrated in his greatest ode, the Ode to Cecilia. The anthems, Blessed is the man that fears the land, and Thou knoweth, Lord, the secrets of our hearts, composed for him for the funeral of Queen Mary 6 months previously, solemnized by his own impressive obscuities in the Abbey. He shares with Byrd the title of Father of English Song. Wow. Okay, Henry Purcell. Something that stuck out to me when reading this is I did not know, although I kind of expected, although I didn't know he did this, that he was, where did it say? He was like a writer. He had to... A copyist. Yeah, a music copyist. And if you haven't listened to any of these minute sketches that we've been doing, we've only been doing like 3 of them. But I always find it so interesting that music literally had to be written out by hand before the printing press, people, and before there were like typeset things and you could just like, stamp things on. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy to me. I can't believe it. So that's one of the things that Henry Purcell did, one of his jobs. Oh, man. We love us some Henry Purcell. I have sung Belinda from Dido and Aeneas twice, actually. And it is a very near and dear role to my heart. We worked at Fredonia. We actually worked with, what's their name? It's a really wonderful, wonderful dance company. I'll think of it. I don't know why it's escaping me right now. But they came and worked with us, this dance company, basically. This Baroque movement specialist who owns the whole company. He worked with us when we did Dido and Aeneas, and it was extremely informative. We were like, oh my God, all these Baroque movements are so specific, and they really are. Like, if you think of Baroque paintings and how things looked back then, it's all very specific and very similar, and it's very interesting to me that people don't pay more attention to these striking, postures in all of these paintings and all of these things that we see, like the S curve, if you're wondering. Like the body looks like it's in the shape of an S. Also, the hand position is very specific. You have like, if you flop your hand out straight, like you're doing that one girl, like that one meme of that girl wearing the headband, and she's like looking out to the side and her neck is stretched out and her hand is like, hello. Like, you know what I mean? So you put your hand palm up and you let it flop down. Like, your pinky finger is going to be the most curled in, and then your ring finger is also going to be curled in, but then it's less, and your middle finger is also less, and your pointer finger is the one that comes out the most. And it's kind of this like cascading, picturesque hand position, you know what I mean? And it's prevalent in a lot of Baroque art. It's prevalent in Baroque dance. Like even the position of your shoulders and your neck and your head and your eyes and your eyebrows, like the whole thing is very picturesque, and it's like a mask. I think that's the word. We don't do research up in here before we start these. This is all coming straight out of my memory, girl. So I believe it's called a mask, but I could be wrong. Where, you're putting on this big air, basically, to portray these characters in this way. It's very interesting. There's a whole bunch of stuff written about it, and I am very intrigued by Purcell specifically. I actually just talked to my teacher today, and I was talking about what I might want to do for my lecture recital here, because you have to do a lecture recital for the DMA program here at Stony Brook, and I was like, you know what? I love me some Purcell, and I'd love to do some research on Purcell, and there's a lot of information it's like buried treasure, I want to be able to sing something that's really kind of laden with hidden treasures. So we're gonna be pursuing some pursue. And yeah, good little minute sketch today. I think that's all we're gonna talk about today, folks, because I'm still a little bit emotionally distressed from that inauguration. There's just a lot of emotions, and it's just a lot to digest. And I think that there are so many people out there who I've talked to over these past 4 years who have been kind of in a fog, you know? We've been in this weird protective survival mode for a really long time, and there's a lot of craziness out there. And I'll say it, dude, you know, people who are crazy about our previous president, like, you're just that, dude. It's just, there's nothing else I can say. And this whole, like, the past 2 weeks, like, the whole insurrection thing and the whole, like, storming of the Capitol and absolutely everything that followed and preceded it, like, it's just so much, and we just don't need to have this in our lives. Like, this is not what our country is supposed to be about. God. So I'm glad that we are kind of shaking the Etch-a-Sketch a little bit here and turning the attention onto the things that actually matter, so we don't have to really focus on these insane people anymore. We don't have to do that. So thank you. Goodbye. Actually, not thank you. Not thank you at all. Mainly just goodbye. And yeah, if you don't necessarily agree with my politics, or I'm not even being necessarily extremely, like, out and about with my politics right now, but, like, if you don't care to hear about this, or you don't necessarily agree with me, you do not have to listen to this podcast. I highly encourage you to find someone who better suits you. I'm not saying, like, you know, screw off, like, I hate you, whatever, because that's not the point. I'm just saying, like, it's a free country, you know, and I can express my beliefs on my own podcast, and I'm allowed to say what I think in a polite and respectful manner that's not hurting anyone, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So that's that. Not that anybody actually, I think, not anybody who listens to me regularly would be particularly upset to hear all of this, because I think we're pretty much all on the same page here as artists and musicians, and yeah, you know what I mean. So thank you for being here. I'm going to close it out today with a little sprinkling of hope that we all have. We're just going to take that little sprinkle, and we're just going to live with it for today, and then we're going to move on and quote, get to work tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you guys, that's going to be it for today's podcast. It's not super exciting, but tomorrow is actually episode 50 of the Paper Soprano podcast. And if this happens to be your very first episode that you're listening to, I do this podcast every single day. I have been doing it every day for 49 days as of today. Tomorrow will be 50 days. And we're just going to see how long we can do it, you know? Like, I'm not in any rush to get to any specific number. I don't have one in mind. I'm not necessarily... I am keeping track, but I'm not, you know, keeping track to impress anyone. It's just every day. Like... So it's just more of an organizational thing right now, but it is kind of impressive to see the number 50. That's a lot. That's a lot of episodes, okay? And yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow for episode 50. If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to support the podcast as a whole, go ahead, subscribe. You'll get notified whenever I post, which is, like I said, every day. And... yeah, you guys, leave this video a like if you wanna. Give me a comment if you wanna. But if you don't worry about it. I still appreciate you, and I hope that you get everything that you want in life, you know? Hope you just have it all. And this, of course, has been the Paper Soprano podcast. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whenever you happen to be listening to this. And I will see you all tomorrow for episode 50. Can you believe it? I honestly kind of can't. But I can, because it's just been every day, so it's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, I never know how to end these podcasts. Okay, love you, mean it. Bye.